And here we are. Hello there, welcome to today's session. You know, welcome to today's tutorial. We'll really be going back to look at the basics of anatomy. You understand? I call them the building blocks of anatomy. You see, so we'll actually be going back to look at the the anatomical positions and anatomical position, sorry, and anatomical planes. Now, we will take time to understand those two because they are really important for understanding anatomy. Gross anatomy is all about describing, right? Describing structures. So, in order to help make our description very precise and solid, we'll be taking a little tour to refresh our mind on what we call the anatomical position and also the anatomical planes. So this video is divided into two parts. We'll look at what anatomy is, anatomical position, and anatomical planes in part one. And then we'll look at the anatomical terminologies and what gross anatomy is about. I've already given a hint about that, and then we'll give a summary in part two. So now we are straight in part one. Let us begin. When you hear the word anatomy, I don't know what actually comes to most people mind, but it's easy to predict, right? It's really easy to predict that it will all be about structure, understand the human body. So anatomy seeks to understand how the entire human body works, how everything works. So uh, that is what anatomy is about. Anatomy studies the structure of the human body, how it works, and how it can, be enhanced. So that is what anatomy is about. So there's something we call anatomical position in anatomy. See, as long as gross anatomy is concerned, for you to be very, very precise and correct in your description. I mentioned earlier that gross anatomy is all about describing, all right? So if for you to be very precise with your description, you need to understand this position, this thing we call the anatomical position. It is just a way of keeping the body. So we internationally decided that okay, before we begin describing the body, let's keep the body in a particular position. Understand? So if we keep this body in this particular position, we can then begin our description. So if this diagram is a diagram uh, of someone standing in anatomical position, so this is what we call anatomical position. Understand? You stand facing forward, completely facing forward, not looking at the floor or above. You're just looking straight forward, with your palms facing forward and just standing erect. So this is what we call anatomical position. So anatomical position helps give us a starting point for description. So the first thing you have to do is there. Whenever you hear anybody describing any structure in anatomy, they are describing it with reference to this anatomical position. So with that being said, let's look at what we call anatomical planes. Now, in anatomy, we tend to divide the body at different places, you understand, in order to help us study structures that are inside and in order to help us describe too, in gross anatomy. So anatomical planes talks about the different ways we can divide the body, understand? So we can choose to divide it like this or like this or like this, it just gives you different ways of dividing your body. So the major thing you need to know about anatomical planes is that it divides your body into an upper or lower half, a left and right half, or an anterior and inferior half. Like now you have a left half and a right half here, an upper half and a lower half. So these planes just divide your body at different places. You understand? So it's that it divides to either give you an upper or lower half. You can also say superior or inferior half, a left and right half, or an anterior and posterior half. So there are five major anatomical planes as long as gross anatomy is concerned. Now the first is called the, well spelled out here. Someone gonna pronounce that. Sagittal plane. So the first we have here is the sagittal plane, and then we have another one called the median plane or the mid sagittal plane. We have the third one called the coronal plane, the fourth called the transverse plane, and the fifth called the oblique plane. Now these are the five major ways we can divide the body. So we'll actually take them one after the other and see what they are about. Now the first is called the what? Sagittal plane. Now in the sagittal plane, the body is divided into two left and right half. For instance, now you see this is what? This is the left half, right? And this is the right half. So the body is divided into two left and right half. Now, but if you observe carefully, you see that the left half here is bigger than the right half. So in the sagittal plane, the body is divided in a way that one part is bigger than the other. Do you understand? So this is uh this is what the sagittal plane is about. So in the median plane or the mid sagittal plane, here we still divide the body into two parts, a left half and a right half. But this time around, the two parts are equal. Like we divide the body into two equal parts in the mid sagittal plane. Can also call the it can also be called the median plane. So that is that about the mid sagittal plane. You see this line here in the middle, you know, when you divide the body into two equal left and right half, this middle, that uh that place at which you divide the body, you understand, this middle here is called the midline. I didn't write that out here, but it's called the midline. So you just divide the body into two equal left and right half. That's why we call it the median. It is in the middle. The median. If you remember mathematics, when we did the mode, the median, and the mean. You understand? If you remember that, then it will be very easy for you to understand this guy. So it divides the body into two equal left and right halves. Then the next one is the coronal plane. Now the coronal plane too divides the body into two parts, but this time doesn't give you uh, a left and a right half. It gives you an anterior half. Anterior means front. It gives you a front side and a back side. So the coronal plane divides your body into two parts: an anterior side, which we say is the front side, and a posterior side, which we call the back side. So the next here is the transverse plane. Now in the transverse plane, if you observe carefully, all this while we've actually been dealing with vertical lines. You understand? When you draw a straight line from top to bottom, in a very straight line, that is a vertical line, like this one. This is a vertical line. Now the three planes we've discussed so far, the sagittal plane, the mid sagittal plane, and this coronal plane, all use what? Vertical lines to divide the body. But in this transverse plane, it uses a horizontal line. Understand? This is a horizontal line, divides the body from left to right. You understand? So this a transverse plane divide the body to give you an upper part and a lower part. And then finally to the oblique plane. Now in the oblique plane, the body is not divided with a straight line. Now the body is divided with a diagonal line, you see, a slanty line like this. So when the body is divided with a slanty line like this, we call it the oblique plane. Now, this is the 5 ways in which the body can be divided, which we call anatomical planes. Now, this is general way of dividing the body, but I can choose to take an oblique plane of the thigh, which means I will just use a diagonal line to divide only the thigh. Or I can choose to take a median plane of the head alone. So I will just divide only the head with a vertical line that divides into 2 equal parts. You understand? A median plane divides into 2 equal parts, right? So that is that about anatomical position and anatomical plane. Thanks for watching this video. I promise keeping all of them short so they will be easy to download and easy to watch. And I'm really trying so hard to make sure that I stick to that. So as always, anatomy is always fun. With you just need a little time and then you actually realize how fun it is. Thanks for watching this video again. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.